All right, so today we're going to talk about the genitive case, which is something that we've been talking about in and out for the last couple of weeks now, actually. So you already kind of have an idea about the genitive case, but today we're going to talk about the genitive in a lot of really nitpicky detail. So the first thing to know about the genitive are the forms, which are part of your noun charts, which you are in the process of memorizing with all the songs. You will need to know your full noun charts for your Chapter 11 test coming up next Friday, so a week from today, whenever you're watching this. Um, so if you're still feeling iffy on noun charts, go back to Moodle, listen to those songs, practice the songs in the shower or in the car on the way to school, whatever it happens to be, so that you're really confident on those forms, particularly the genitive forms for first, second, and third declension and for those neuter ones. So, before we can really talk about the genitive, we've got to review what all of these cases are that we know already. We know the nominative, we know the accusative, the ablative, and the vocative, and we already kind of know about the genitive. So what I would like for you to do first is pause this video right now and tell me what each of these cases is used for. If it's used for multiple things, be sure to mention that. So pause the video, tell me what these cases are used for. All right, I hope you actually paused the video. The nominative is used for the subject and the complement, or I should say, or the complement in the sentence. The genitive, which is what we're discussing this week, is used for possession. So I know we've talked about that before in a little detail, but whenever you have possession, what that means is when you translate a genitive from Latin into English, you also must include either the word of or an apostrophe s. For example, I went to the house of my friend. Of my friend would be one word in Latin, and that would just be amici, friend in the genitive case. You could also say, I went to my friend's house. Same deal, exact same thing. So either the house of my friend or my friend's house. Either way, it's just friend in the genitive case. The accusative is used for the direct object and for poppy prepositions. The ablative, we're getting to a lot of other uses of the ablative, but for now, the ablative is used for sid space. Sid space prepositions. And the vocative is used for direct address, when you're talking to someone directly. And those are the cases we know so far. So, let's take a look at some examples of phrases using genitives in English. Pause this video right now and please circle whichever word or words in these following phrases in English would be in the genitive case in Latin. Think about the little extra words we add when we translate them from Latin into English. Pause the video. All right, welcome back. So if we're taking a look at these little phrases, of the palace would be genitive. Same with of the tree, the girls, Quintus's, the mother of Quintus, the friend's house, the throne of the king, Metella's friend, the king's crown, the dog's tail, the cat's pajamas, and the pet of the boy. So all of those with the of or with the apostrophe s, those would all be genitive. That's the possession. Now let's take a look at these little phrases in Latin. These are not the exact same phrases as the ones right up above, so don't get confused by that. You can use your noun charts if you want to, but try to look at all these nouns and really pay very close attention to the case endings. So take a look at, for example, the first one, ara templi. Look at the ending on ara. We've got an A, and the ending on templi, we've got an I. Which one of those can be genitive? Well, templi. Ara cannot be genitive. Ara is either nominative, singular, or it could be a weird neuter plural. So templi is the genitive one. Take a look at animus domini, I should say. US and I. US cannot be genitive. Domini is your genitive, the mind of the master. So pause the video now and find me all of the genitives in these little examples. Okay, welcome back. With multitudo ancillarum, ancillarum is your genitive, a multitude of slave women. Epistula patris, patris is genitive, the letter of the father. Stola Metelli. Metelli is your genitive. The dress of Metella, or Metella's dress. Ooh, now we get into Willi Janui. That is tricky because we've got an AE and an AE. Both of those could be genitive. So sometimes you might have to use context. Try translating these. Either it's the country house of the door, or the country houses of the door, or you could say the doors of the country house, depending on which one is genitive. If it was the country houses of the door, then door would be genitive. But if it's the doors of the country house, then country house would be genitive. I would say that the doors of the country house makes a lot more sense than the country houses of the door. That sounds strange. All right, flores puellae. Puellae is genitive. Kibos matrum. Matrum is genitive. This one is tricky. Watch out for third declension genitive plural. You may remember from your noun charts that third declension genitive plural is That is going to look a lot like a second declension accusative, right? Like say we said Cornelia sees Marcus. Markham. That looks a lot like that but third declension is genitive plural. So watch out for those third declension nouns. They'll always try to throw you. Canis caecilii. Let's see. We've got the dog of Caecilius. Agmen sacerdotum, the line of priests. Dominus servorum, the master of slaves. And vox imperatoris, the voice of the emperor. Those are your genitive forms. Always trust your endings. They're always the same. All right, turn your page over and take a look. Now we have little sentences, and these little sentences have genitives in them. When you've reached this part of the video, I would really like for you to work with your partners. So touch base with your partner, see where they are in the video as well. If you're working on the video together, even better. Pause the video together at the same time and work through these with your partner or partners. So what I'd like for you to do is schematize these little sentences and translate them. When you come across a genitive, please draw an arrow from that genitive to whatever it's possessing. So if you were to say the friend's house, you would draw an arrow from friends to house, because friends is the genitive and it's possessing the house. Let's do the first one together. Liberi in raida senatoris. That should be senatoris. Ooh, typo. Senatoris sunt. Liberi is your subject, sunt is your verb, in rida is a prep phrase, senatoris is genitive, and it's going back to rida. The children are in the carriage of the senator, or the children are in the senator's carriage. So pause the video now. Please work together with your partner or with the people around you and translate these little phrases. All right, welcome back. So if we're taking a look at number 2, Davus est villicus Cornelii. Davus is the overseer. That should be a compliment. Davus is the overseer of Cornelius, or Davus is Cornelius's overseer. Davus est villicus Corneliorum. Notice that Cornelii is singular, so it's got to be of Cornelius. But Corneliorum is plural, so it's got to be of the Cornelius family, or of the Cornelii. So Davus is the overseer of the Cornelius family, or the Cornelius family's overseer. Vox Davi teret sextum. The voice of Davus scares Sextus, or Davus's voice scares Sextus. Parentes liberorum sunt Aurelia et Cornelius. The parents of the children are Aurelia and Cornelius, or the children's parents are Aurelia and Cornelius. And number 6, Sextus non est filius Aureliae. Sextus is not the son of Aurelia, or Sextus is not Aurelia's son. So those are all your little genitive practice ones. Now you've got composition. So when you're dealing with composition, really do watch out for the genitives. Number 1, for example, the open space is full of slaves. Of slaves is a genitive, and it's possessing the full, right? It is full of slaves who are working hard and who are muttering about the master. Notice, about is translated as day plus the ablative, exactly like down from. Remember Sid space? The Sid, the D of Sid in Sid space, is day, meaning down from, but day can also mean about. So when you're working on these compositions, just remember those little tricks. So pause the video now and compose. Please work together in your pairs. Compose. All right, so the open space is the area. It's also translated as the threshing floor or just the area. Any of those would be fine. The area is, that's your verb, est, full, plena. Notice plenus is an adjective, so it's got to agree with its noun buddy. It's agreeing with area, or area, which is feminine, nominative, singular, so plena also must be feminine, nominative, and singular. Of slaves is genitive, and it's plural. Watch your singulars and plurals. Servorum. Who, qui, are working hard. Hard is also strenuously, if you want to take it that way, or energetically. So you can say strenue for hard. And then who are working, they are working. Notice that the who is going back to the slaves. The slaves who, so it's plural. Laborant, they. And who are muttering. Muttering might be one of your vocab words this week. It might not. It's muso, musare, musant, about the master. De domino. That's number one. All right, number two. Geta, are you hiding yourself and do you want to escape? Geta is vocative, the same. Are you hiding yourself? To hide is kelo kelare. So you are hiding kelas. And remember, we've got a question. So we can throw that ne on the back there. Kelas ne. Say, are you hiding yourself? And do you want to escape? Do you want, let's see, wola wis. Do you want to escape? Efugere. That's number two. All right, so take a look at composition number one, full of slaves, as well as particularly these little examples up in part one. Really take a look at part one. See the genitives? Look at all those little arrows we made. What can you infer about the word order of genitives in a sentence? Brainstorm. You may notice that the genitives in all of these sentences right up here come directly after the word that they're possessing, right? The carriage of the senators, the overseer of Cornelius, the overseer of the Cornelius family, the voice of Dawes, the parents of the children. This genitive one always comes right after what it's possessing. So if you want to really pay close attention to your Latin word order, you should always put the genitive, the possessor, right after whatever it is possessing. All right, those are your genitive guided notes, so to speak. Now what I'd like for you to do is to work on textbook exercise 11D and workbook exercise 11E. You can go in either order that you want, textbook 11D or workbook 11E first, doesn't matter to me, but you should finish both of those by the end of class today. So please do work together, work with your partners or work with the people around you. There is an answer key that will be projected at the end of class so you can see how you did on textbook 11D and workbook 11E. All right, please email me if you have any questions. Please make sure to write down any questions that you have as well so we can go over them in class on Monday. And have a great weekend.